Michael Myers, straight out of Haddonfield, Illinois, the infamous Halloween Boogeyman. Forever linked to Halloween, he is one of the forefathers of the slasher genre. He undoubtedly holds a spot comfortably on Mount Slashmore. He has reigned horror through 12 movies in multiple timelines from 1978 to 2022. He is the only slasher not to be featured in the Mortal Kombat games, but he is supposedly coming to Fortnite. He has slashed his way into the top 3 most kills of all times when it comes to slashers. His victim list is nearly 200 bodies. For whatever reason, on Halloween night, young Michael Myers went stab happy on his older sister, landing himself in Smith's Grove Sanitarium for 15 years. He would have been there longer, but decided he'd break out. After he breaks out, he drives around Haddonfield looking for Laurie Strode, his baby sister who was adopted out and had a name change. Her adopted family owned Strode Realty, which explains her name change. Michael still ends up finding her anyway, and won't stop until her demise, and he will go through anyone who gets in his way. Always watch your back on Halloween.
Welcome to Killer Content.
Now let's get into the top 10 Michael Myers kills. Number 10 on my list, Lester the German Shepherd. Michael Myers really doesn't like dogs. Throughout his movies, there are a few references to Michael killing dogs and even eating one. I guess he's more of a cat person. Anyway, doing what no other slasher has done, Michael showed how brutal he is by not only killing man, but also killing man's best friend. While creeping and peeping into the Wallace's window at Annie Brackett, who was babysitting Lindsay, Lindsay's dog starts to do what all dogs love to do in the middle of the night, and that's bark. Annie thinks the dog doesn't like her and is barking at her. Michael grabs the dog and chokes him out, abruptly ending Lester's barking. This shows Michael Myers really has no reason, no conscience, or no sympathy. Rest in peace, Lester. Number 9 on my list, the unknown cult doctor. Way before people were using facial recognition to unlock smartphones, Michael Myers was using people's faces to unlock gates. Myers uses the injured doctor's face to open the gate Tommy shut seconds before. After the gate was shut, the injured doctor begs Tommy to, "Help me, please help me." Tommy ignores his cries for help, leaving him trapped so he can slow down the raging Michael Myers. Michael uses the cult doctor's face with so much force pushed against the metal bars it crushes his head while crashing the gate down. A little motivation for Michael Myers: never let a closed gate stand between you and your goals. Number 8 on my list, Jill Franco. One of Michael Myers' most iconic kills in all of the Halloween movies is the infamous scalpel to the back of Nurse Jill while lifting her in the air with one hand. Working late night at Haddonfield Memorial, her and other staff start noticing nurses and doctors are nowhere to be seen. Not even in the ICU. Get it? Nowhere to be seen? ICU? Anyway, Jimmy tells Jill to go for help if she doesn't locate anyone. She goes outside to her car and it doesn't start. Also, her tires are slashed. But not only are her tires slashed, but everyone's tires in the parking lot were slashed. She returns inside of Haddonfield Memorial to see Laurie Strode down a hallway. Michael appears out of nowhere behind her, giving her a scalpel to the back, lifting her in the air, and dropping her, killing her, while Laurie watches in horror.
Brought to you by Strode Realty.
Number 7 on my list, Kelly Meeker, the daughter of Sheriff Ben Meeker. When not working at the discount shop, she spends her spare time trying to steal boyfriends from other girls in Haddonfield. After Rachel cancels a Halloween date with Brady because Rachel had to take Jamie trick-or-treating, Kelly, being the trick she is, decides she would give Brady her own Halloween treat. Later, Rachel and Jamie knock on Kelly's door while trick-or-treating, and to Rachel's surprise, Brady is there with half-naked Kelly. After Rachel leaves mad, Kelly and Brady get back to getting hot and heavy. Later, her dad Ben shows up and warns them of impending doom. After locking down the house, Michael shows up later, killing them one by one. Michael kills a deputy, taking his shotgun. He gives Kelly the pipe she'd been wanting all night when he rams the barrel of a shotgun through her chest and hangs her on the wall. Number 6 on my list, Oscar Bellucci. After shooting his shot with Allison, he drunkenly tries to kiss her. She rejects him and decides to leave Oscar drunk in the backyard that they used as a shortcut home. As Oscar mumbles drunk apologies, Michael Myers is lurking in the shadows. Allison has now gotten a good distance away but can still hear Oscar. Oscar sees Michael and thinks it's Mr. Elrod, and he drunkenly apologizes for being in his backyard. The motion lights in the backyard keep going on and off, and every time they do, Michael gets closer and closer to Oscar. Michael stabs Oscar as he runs in the direction Alice had gone a few minutes before. He tries to climb over the fence, and his cape gets stuck, and he dies after being impaled on the fence by Michael Myers. Allison hears his screams only to return to find Oscar deceased. Number 5 on my list, Phil Dickerson. After being rudely awakened by fire trucks, Phil comes downstairs. He walks in on his wife, Sandra, flying a drone. The drone flies into the bathroom, in which he gets thrown right back out of the bathroom. Phil goes to the bathroom to investigate and finds Michael Myers. Before they can escape, Michael almost kills Sandra, but he does kill Phil as he grabs him, placing him on the kitchen table, and stabs him in the back with every knife in the Dickerson's house, using Phil as a knife block, while Sandra, hanging on for life, can only watch frozen in fear.
This year, get your Halloween mask from Silver Shamrock Novelties.
Number 4 on my list, Dr. Sartain. Dr. Sartain is a knockoff Dr. Loomis, and you can't help but root for Michael when he kills him. After locating Michael Myers unconscious in the street, Dr. Sartain stabs Officer Hawkins in the neck. He then drags his body into the police cruiser where Allison is already locked in. Later, Michael awakens, kicking the metal grate that ends up causing Dr. Sartain to fall on the ground. He looks up and sees Michael standing above him. Michael stomps his skull in, turning this fake Dr. Loomis to roadkill courtesy of his boot. Number 3 on my list, Nurse Karen Bailey. One of my favorite Michael Myers kills is Nurse Karen Bailey's. It is definitely one of his top 3 kills in my opinion. Working late night, her and Bud decide to get wet and steamy in the hospital's hot tub therapy bath instead of monitoring patients. This is why doctors take so long at appointments. Anyway, Michael turns up the heat, and Nurse Karen tells Bud to go turn down the scalding water or he gets no cookie. Bud does go to turn down the water temperature, and is off by Michael Myers. Myers comes in behind Karen, and she thinks it's Bud returning. She starts kissing his hand and sucking his fingers, only to find that it isn't Bud. Michael gives her the hot, wet, steamy action she was looking for. Number 2 on my list, John Strode. This is also one of Michael's top 3 best kills of all times in my opinion. After going down to the basement to investigate the power outage, he discovers the basement is flooded from what he thinks is a broken washing machine. He opens the washer to find bloody sheets. After finding the bloody sheets, John tries to flee, only to run straight into Michael Myers, who stabs John. He then lifts him up into the air, turns around, and puts the alcoholic abusive father into the electrical breaker box, electrocuting him in one of Michael Myers' greatest kills in all of the Halloween movies. Last but not least, number 1 on my list, Jamie Lloyd. This is one of Michael's most brutal kills, sounding like an episode of Jerry Springer. After impregnating his own niece Jamie, Michael then impales her on a corn thresher. Then he turns on the corn thresher, killing her as he stands there watching as she dies a slow, agonizing death. I guess incest isn't best. And that's my top 10 Michael Myers kills. If I don't die in my sleep, I'll see you next week.